Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of Live from the Adelphi PAC Livingroom. My name is Blyth Daylong. I am the Executive Director here at the Adelphi University Performing Arts Center. Thank you all so much for joining us again this week, or for the first time if you haven't been with us. I am coming to you live from what I've decided to call the Adelphi PAC Annex, otherwise known as my apartment here in Mineola. So welcome to everyone who's here and who'll be joining us over the next 30 to 45 minutes. As we all continue to live many aspects of our lives virtually here at Adelphi, we really wanted to find a way to keep bringing entertainment to our audience, to showcase our talented students, employees, and alumni, and give everyone a short break from the outside world. So we've been doing this show for the last few weeks. We're going to continue doing this every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, with guests from dance, music, and theater doing live and recorded performances from our homes to yours. We also want to encourage everyone who is able to please consider giving back by making a contribution to the Adelphi University Student Emergency Support Fund at the website you see on your screen. This is specifically for Adelphi students and gives them some extra funding for those who perhaps haven't been able to return home safely or need to return home safely, don't have access to proper technology to continue learning and continue their education, have unmet medical needs, are living with food insecurity or other issues. So please, I encourage you, if you are able, to make a contribution to that fund to help out those students. Now, as many of you may or may not know, Adelphi is currently in the middle of finals. So there's a lot going on. There are classes and closing ceremonies and award ceremonies and all different kinds of things. So this week's show is going to be a little different than what you have seen in some ways. We wish everyone well on their final exams and projects and look forward to continuing to celebrate your work all summer long. So our first guest tonight is a part-time faculty member in our Department of Music. So please welcome Jonathan Goodman. Jonathan, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
We are thrilled to have you here. Thank you for taking some time tonight to do this. I know you are double booked this evening, so thanks for making time for us to do that. And now, where exactly are you coming from this evening?
I know you're Mineola because I heard you say it in last show,
yep.
And you just said it now. I'm about the same distance to the school as you. I'm in Franklin Square, so I'm about 5 minutes on the other side of school towards the tree.
Nice, excellent.
Yeah,
it's nice to be so close, but yet also weird to feel so incredibly far away. So
that is true.
Yeah. Now, how have your classes and lessons been going this semester?
You know, adjusting like everybody else to the craziness that we're in. I have two kids who are home from their colleges.
Gotcha.
So they're upstairs in their rooms most of the time finishing their classes, and one of them is going to graduate from SUNY Purchase. And then my wife is a nurse. So with me teaching about 20 hours a week in this room and all that going on, we've got lots of Wi-Fi issues, and happily we're employed and getting it done.
Sure. I mean, that's great. That's a very busy house, and I'm sure that your internet is incredibly taxed.
Yes.
On a day-to-day basis, right? Yeah.
It is. Thankfully, no glitches so far, really.
That's excellent. Well, thank you for taking some time out from all of that with us this evening. Now, why don't you tell us what you're going to be performing and tell us a little bit about it, and I'm going to just hand things over to you.
Yeah, so I've been reacquainting myself with this thing right here, something that I'm not a skilled at, but trying to get back into it. So my classical singing career is on hold, like for most people. And I've sort of resumed my hobby, which is singer-songwriter. So as a teacher of voice, I'm very acutely aware of the situation with a lot of my students, not just family situations, but a crisis of confidence. What we do as voice teachers is unique in education. That is that we try to foster an alchemy, if you will, of confidence and vulnerability. And I see too often in my students right now that the vulnerability is winning out over the confidence. And so last week, I felt inspired to write my students a song. So this is for all of you. It's called Believe. Never could I fathom you'd be stuck here. No one saw our flight come crashing down. Every day is reinvention. Every breath has new intention. Never could we see what now is lost. Just believe, believe, crazy though it seems. Hold on to those dreams, let your heart receive. Just believe. Read on past the scars, the stories in the healing. Find your beach, hear waves that speak. Stay open to the sounds. Every day is reinvention. Every breath has new intention. Always keep a space for love to live. And believe, believe, crazy though it seems. Hold on to those dreams, let your heart receive. Just believe, believe, crazy though it seems. Hold on to those dreams, let your heart receive. Just believe.
Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for that great piece of music for your students and the time, everything that's going on right now. It's really fantastic. Now, I want to be sure and share a way where people can hear more of your music.
Thank you.
You have a page on SoundCloud. You've got some things going on there. So what kind of things can people hear if they visit your SoundCloud?
Yeah, so a little smorgasbord of everything. You know, most of my career is in classical, and so you'll hear some examples of that, some live stuff and some album tracks, but also some of my songwriter stuff. And who knows, maybe I'll take a left turn here and go somewhere else with the singing.
I mean, you never know, right?
After tonight.
That's right. Yeah.
All bets are off.
That's right. You never know. You never know. Anything can happen. And I encourage folks to check out your SoundCloud for more of your great music. Thank you again for being here this evening. I really appreciate it. It was great to see you and have you on.
Thanks. Take care. See you around the bend.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks a lot. So again, once again, thank you to Jonathan Goodman. If you are an Adelphi student, an employee, an alum, we are always looking for performers for the show. We are going to be doing this all summer long, so please reach out to us at the email address you see on the screen if you are interested in joining us on a future show, and we will chat and figure all that out. Like we have done with Jonathan, we have some great guests coming up next week, and some folks already sort of penciled in here and there, so please do reach out if you are interested in joining us down the road. Now, our next guest is currently living in Belgium now, and we chatted a little online and figured it was kind of cruel to make her be on camera at 1:30 in the morning on a Monday night. So we actually filmed her segment earlier. It is, yeah. So we're cheating a little bit this evening, but wanted really to be sure to bring you the great work and talk a little bit about what she's up to over on the other side of the world. So it's my pleasure to welcome the delightful Department of Music alum, Steffi Pacson, as our first international guest on the show. So here we go. Welcome, Steffi. Thank you so much for being here with us from Brussels. It is exciting to see you again. You are our first international guest on the show, which is very exciting.
Yes.
We welcome you. You were a class of 2014 from the music department.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about sort of how you wound up in Brussels and what you've been up to?
Wow. Okay, well, I'm going to try to make it short because it's been quite a ride.
I imagine.
Well, so after graduating Adelphi, I went to a 9-month intensive audio engineering program in the city called SAE. And basically, I wanted to be able to have knowledge on how to be able to capture music and be able to produce them and really go behind the scenes of the audio side, which for me, I thought was really important, and it still is important if you want to make music.
Right.
So I went there, and I was like one of the few females in the school. So it was nice. It was a very nice experience, and it was there where I met my musical partner. His name's Yannick, and he's from Belgium.
Okay.
And it first started with he needed a singer for one of his final projects, and at the time I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay, fine. It's like more experience being in the studio, how he works the consoles, and I also needed to learn that for my exams there.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, let's do this. And it became like a really good collaboration. I had a really good feeling with him. He had a really good feeling with me. And it was just like, wow, okay, we like each other.
Nice.
Yeah. And then we were trying to find a way to stay together because obviously he's European, I'm American. I mean, it was a little bit tricky, and we were young and we didn't know what to do. And so it was like a little bit like we were in a long distance relationship for like a couple months, I think I remember. And then we finally decided, hey, listen, whatever, let's just try to make this work. Just come here to Europe. Let's see what happens. And, we'll continue our collaborations there because we're both musicians. We're both in music. So that's exactly what we did. And I moved here and I got the right paperwork to stay here.
Yep.
And we started on a couple of projects just to try things out. And finally, we created SEY, SEY, which is an acronym for our name, Steffi et Yannick, being and in French.
Oh, nice. And so that's the first thing we're going to watch of yours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Is something you guys worked on together.
Yeah, that's the one that we worked on together. And it was great because we were able to really mesh together our styles, and you were really able to, I was able to utilize all of those years of musical training from Adelphi, from SAE, from my songwriting courses. And you were able to really put it together in this project and create some sort of brand with it. And fortunately, we were able to play around here in Europe. We were able to play in Luxembourg. We played here in Brussels, and we opened up a summer festival the summer of 2018. So it was really exciting. But unfortunately, we did have to take a break from that. So we stopped the project 2018, like the end of 2018.
Great. So, yeah. But before we move on, let's watch one of the videos and one of the songs that you guys did put together while you were working together on this particular project.
Yeah.
So let me get here. This is always my favorite part. All right, here we go.
Okay.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many poor boys. And God, you know you're one. Yeah. You're the one. Yeah. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many poor boys. And God, you know and God, you know
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Love it. So it's obviously a song everyone knows, probably
Yeah.
not heard like that before.
Yeah.
I love it. So,
Thank you.
so now you've shifted away from SEY a couple of years ago, and you're working on some things of your own.
Yeah.
We're going to see a couple of short excerpts, I guess, of some things. So why don't you talk about what you're doing now, and this first one, Ain't Love Enough, that we're going to watch next. I mean, but tell us about it before.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Well, okay. Well, So after say, you know, I took like a year off, like 2019. We took a musical break, and I took a year off just to reflect about a lot of things, and did some soul searching, and what I really love about music and stuff like that, and just like finding my roots again. So actually now this project, the Steffi Pacson, I guess, project, you could say, it's just 2 weeks old. You know, yeah, it's really like really young, early stages. And basically, I just really wanted to go back down to my roots, to just vocals, to harmonies, to playing the piano again, to going back to the kind of songwriting that I really enjoy. Given all the information, all the experience I had developing say, you know, so now I'm using that kind of information in developing this project. Now it's in its early forms, so I don't really know what form it will take yet. I'm just letting it go, letting the inspiration go, and see where it takes me. I'm sure it's gonna be evolving, and it's gonna be changing as the project continues. But at the moment, I'm just following where my instincts are taking me.
Of course, great. Well, let's watch your first one here, Ain't Love Enough. Then we'll talk about that. So this is just a piece of a full song, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Great. All right, here we go.
Or from me, ain't love enough to get by and be free. Don't you understand? Don't you see? When life gets you down, gotta get up to be free.
Excellent. Very different, obviously.
Yeah. Very different.
Project. Anything you want to talk about? Is that a song you've written?
Yeah. So I been like, I was the one who made the lyrics, the piano, like everything in that video I made. So I produced the song, the beats, that I mixed it, I mastered it. So it was really a very fulfilling video to make, a very fulfilling project to start, because basically I have all my fingers in there. And so I mean, right now I just want to express myself and belt and scream and use my head voice and really explore everything that I can be able to offer for every song. So
great. I mean, I appreciate you sharing these with us in their infancy. I know that's always a little bit nerve-wracking, and so I'm happy to that you shared even these pieces of it. We've got one more that I think you did just in the last couple days, right?
Yeah. Well, it was actually the first video that I released. So there's Ain't Love Enough. That's the second video. The first video that I made was actually The Reason, and it was just me just dipping my toe in the self-made stuff, DIY, and video shooting myself. So yeah.
Anything you want to tell us before?
The Reason, well, no, for me, I really enjoy the process. That's for sure. I really enjoy the creative process. Just, I think I've come to a point, I guess, in my creative maturity where I can say I feel good. You know, I have still things to learn, and that's really great. And I'm looking forward to learn those things. But I'm happy at where I am right now.
Fantastic. Well, I am excited to share one more thing. This is Steffi's The Reason.
Let me walk down the land, let me walk down the shores with you. Let me take these steps, let me show you the way to you. Don't you be scared, 'cause I'll be there. You are the reason that I breathe, that I speak. You are the reason why the seasons change for me.
Another great job, Steffi.
Thank you.
Thank you again for being here. I'm so happy we were able to make this work.
Me too.
Right?
Thanks, technology.
Anything you want to? Oh, I almost forgot. So you are continuing to work on projects. If people want to see more of your work, I encourage them to go to Facebook, and if you just search for Steffi Pacson Music, or you add this after Facebook, you will be able to see a lot more of the work she's been doing, some of her past stuff, her future things, all kinds of stuff is going to be on there for people to see more of you. We are thrilled to have you back and welcome you back to Adelphi, even if it's just virtually.
Yeah.
And great. Any last words before we go on with the show and I send it back to my future self?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to your show. I think it's such a great initiative that you're doing, getting all these people from all over Adelphi, the US, the world, together in this very tough time. And I think it's a very good thing that you're doing. So thank you very much for letting me be part of it.
Absolutely. And thank you again for being our first guest. I'm thrilled with that. So we will see you again soon, and good luck with all of your projects and all of your work.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you again, Steffi, for joining us. I apologize for the fun blurring that happened midway through that. My computer apparently decided that it had just had enough and was not going to keep up with all the things I'm trying to make it do to make this happen. So luckily the sound stayed okay, but it was not you, it was me. So thank you again, Steffi, for joining us. Also, she did talk about the fact that she is getting back into songwriting. She is working on a number of other projects. And that feels like a great way to segue into reminding everyone to please check out Adelphi's summer programs. They are university-wide. There are programs in almost every aspect of the university happening this summer online. They are heavily discounted. There are some fantastic programs in all the departments. Particularly some we talked about last week. I'm going to talk specifically again, since Steffi talked about songwriting, as did Jonathan, about our songwriting course that we're doing in both summer sessions this summer, that is going to be open to both musicians and lyricists, and is being taught by our own, Adelphi's own Pulitzer Prize-winning composer, Paul Moravec. So I do encourage everyone to visit the website, take a look at all the great programs. Even if you're not interested in music, like I said, there are lots of them all around the university all summer long. So now last week we talked about an exciting project that some of our Department of Theater students, some of our Department of Theater alumni are working on, called Two Solid Flesh. This is an online theater project that is going to be premiering later this month. They're rehearsing. Now they're rehearsing as we speak. So I talked earlier to the playwright and director of this project to tell us more about what we can expect from this virtual theater piece. And I hope that my computer continues to cooperate so that we can share more with you about this great project. They're going to tell you about it, when it's coming up, how to find everything out. So here we go. So welcome, Megan and Shoshanah. Thank you so much for doing this. I know you guys are actually, as this is airing, in the throes of rehearsal for the show. So I thank you for taking time out of your weekend to do this so that we can tell people about this great project that you guys are doing. I should say first, Megan and Shoshanah both are alums of our Department of Theater. So we are thrilled to have you back at Adelphi. We are I'm super excited about this project that you guys have put together through your company and through the project, through other work that you guys have done. So I'm going to start by saying, let's talk first a little bit about your production company and how that kind of came to be and what was sort of step one of this process.
Megan, do you want to start?
Sure. Well, I think Shoshanah, were you ready? You had something.
No, go ahead.
Like Fresh Skin came out of doing a couple of workshops in immersive theater on Governor's Island, where we were tasked with using an entire house. And Shoshanah and I have always been interested in immersive theater. We used to talk about it when we were at Adelphi University and just how we could expand theater and what that would look like. I think what is really exciting about the project we're working on now is we're bringing in technical elements into that idea of what is immersive, what's theater, how can we take this to the next level when things like this are happening. And it just all came from that seed of here's a house, figure it out. And I feel like it now has transitioned to here's a pandemic, figure it out. And I think that's what excites me about theater. It's like through the years, through the centuries, it's always been, why do we need to do this? And what I feel like really was the seed of this project, where we generated a list of questions to ask the students, how do you feel right now? What does this make you feel? And that was the springboard for everything we've been doing for this.
Which is so great. And it's so wonderful that you guys have worked on several projects over the last few years back at Adelphi with theater students. So you knew them well. You were able to just quickly, as this came up, to pivot and reach out to them and say, hey, we have this idea. Everyone, of course, as we talked about a little bit before we came on here, is trying to figure out what theater looks like right now, what theater looks like next, how we can kind of keep that same connection going. So I think that's what's so exciting about this project that you're doing is it's a hybrid thing, but it was actually built to be online and to be this virtual experience. You're using a ton of and alums from the department. You have 18 actors. Hold on a second. Let me just pause this for a minute and let my computer catch up. And maybe that will help solve the problem. So here we go again. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. All of whom are alumni or students or current students. You have 7 tech folks who are working as stage managers and designers. And then, of course, the 2 of you are both alumni as well. So it really is fantastic that you've been able to pull this together as a side project for everyone. The students are in the throes of finals right now, and you guys both still have other work going on and are keeping yourselves busy. So I think it's great. So maybe we're going to watch a little piece of this. So if you want to kind of tell us more about the project itself, this specific show, how that's going to work, and then maybe set up the clip, and then we can come back and talk about it some more. So
amazing.
Yeah, that sounds great. So when all of the quarantine started, Megan and I were chatting just about the future of theater and what was going to happen, and also had been in communication with some of the students we previously worked with who had lost their spring productions, and we're sort of trying to figure out if there was a project that we could do that would also support the students. We have this immersive theater company, like Fresh Skin. And so we started thinking about Zoom as a platform to host live theater, and experimenting with some of the functionalities that are built into Zoom, as well as app integration and what it would look like to have some segments pre-recorded and some performed live, how you create the intimacy of live performance through a screen, things like that. And so we reached out to students we previously worked with and just sort of said, we've got a project, we don't know what it's going to be or how exactly it'll function, but let's make this happen. And then we had this question and answer session with them, which was really beautiful. And they were just so honest and open with us about the things they were struggling with in this process. And I think we were both touched and wanted to serve their needs. And it felt like this hybrid of wanting an escape and something fun and light, and also needing a way to work through the depth of what was happening in their real lives. And so, Megan, maybe this is a good time for you to talk about where the story came from.
We've long talked about what adapting Shakespeare would look like or what it would feel like. I've seen different translations of Shakespeare, whether it was like the Oregon Shakes, Alabama Shakes cooperation translating Shakespeare. I've seen Shakespeare adaptations, but we kind of have always been fascinated by what that would look like for us as collaborators. And I thought when I was listening to these answers from the students, how amazing that these feelings they're having are so big and so epic and Shakespearean in a sense.
Right.
Especially with the stakes we have. You know, these kids who had such independence, students rather, are going back to their childhood homes and feeling that loss of something bigger and greater than themselves, watching people around them die. That's horrifying. So I thought in this moment, why not try to take those really iconic characters in Shakespeare and see what that would look like as this adaptation in this post-apocalyptic high school that is a distance learning center online, right? So our main characters, even though we're not putting too much on the nose with this, are Hamlet, Ophelia, Romeo and Juliet, and Miranda and Fernando. Right. Ferdinand. And Fernando, who's playing not Ferdinand, but somebody else. But in that sense, I just thought, wouldn't this be great watching these people of a certain age, these teenagers, or these students playing teenagers having to deal with these very large, huge issues in their lives, and what happens when you can't touch each other, you can't be near each other, you can't have that sense of communication in real time. And it's really been a fascinating experience putting that out there and just seeing where it went as I've been rewriting and working the script while we've been going.
Excellent. So we have a piece that you guys recorded and sent over. So do you want to set that up and tell us what it is we're specifically what we're about to watch?
Sure. So you're going to see a selection from the show featuring Mishka Rehak, who is I believe a junior in the department currently. And she plays our character M, who is the Miranda character. The screen name for the character is M. And this is a virtual journal. It is an exercise that she, as a student in this new virtual learning space, has been tasked with creating these daily virtual journals. And this is a monologue or a snippet from the show of her character doing that.
Excellent. All right, so let's take a look at this short excerpt from Two Solid Flesh.
I'm supposed to talk to this every day about something. So I do not mind being alone. I cannot speak too loudly as my father is listening. He's always listening. I like the twists and turns my mind takes when it is left to dream. Everyone seems to miss something. I do not. I miss the sea, I suppose. The waves. The sand when it is hot beneath my thighs. I would lift my skirt just enough to feel the warmth below me. I miss strong wind. I would close my eyes and imagine I was being rushed away on a breeze. I miss the sounds of the ocean. What do you miss?
So great.
Yeah.
Nice work from one of your actors in the show. So that's obviously just a small piece of this. Tell us a little bit more about what exactly we can expect. Kind of the overall tone and feel of it. Obviously everyone's going to be watching this online, but I think you also have some apps and some other things, some interactivity. How is all that going to work?
So yes, it happens on Zoom. So if you send an email RSVPing for one of the shows, you will receive a response the day before your selected performance with the Zoom link, some technical recommendations for the best quality viewing experience, and we'll include a link to a Zoom tutorial for those who may not be using it on a daily basis for school or meetings. You will also be invited at that time to submit, without giving it away, some materials which might make an appearance at some point in the show.
Okay.
So on the day when you arrive, we have 30 minutes allotted at the top of every performance, kind of like the normal time when the house would open and people would slowly come in and be seated. Where we will provide technical assistance to anyone who's struggling with accessing the call or anything like that. The show begins in a Zoom room, and over the course of the next 2 hours, you will enjoy one-on-one performances like the one you just saw, monologues like that, large group scenes. You will find your way through a series of virtual rooms with themes. There are some pre-recorded segments in the show. There's some interactivity built in to the chat, as well as some other moments. And there's a big dance party. There's a TikTok off. So lots of different
We don't
fun.
much away. We'll
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
say there's a lot to play with. There's a lot that you can get in the midst of. And the best part is if you're a little bit shy and you want to pull back, you're fully capable of doing that as well. So I've had some questions about that. So I just wanted to mention.
That would be me, who would want nothing to do with any of that, but still would want to watch and see what everyone else is doing.
Yes, so you are totally welcome to come and observe everything. There are also opportunities for those who want to play more actively to turn on their cameras and engage at different points.
That's great. And much like I'm gonna say regular theater experience, you are doing a full week run of the show. So you're doing this every night for a week. The schedule is on the website as well. I believe you have your previews are this Sunday, right? The 17th. I know. I'm sorry to put it that way. That might be a horrifying moment.
Tell us when the show is actually being shown to people. Get aware. Yes, yes, we're moving into our previews in a week. And also something exciting about this, because we don't know what the future holds, just in general with the world. Yeah. We're looking to, depending on what the need is and what the excitement is, to potentially extend it to June. But taking in and kind of helping it mutate into something even more interesting, depending on how certain app integration works. So I think that's exciting too, is that this is going to be a fully functional, continuously evolving piece. And that's what we're looking to make it be as well.
I mean, that's great. And I know that that's so important, for our student performers, our alums, for you guys to sort of see, oh, there actually is a future in this. And there are things and ways that, with creative people getting together and working on this, that, I'm sure over the next few months, we'll see even more things like this as people, look for new ways. So it's very exciting that you're right out of the gate on this, and have been working on this I know you've been working on this for a couple months with the students.
I wrote the play.
I wish it was that long.
Yes, I wrote this play in 2 weeks.
Oh,
so
we had our first rehearsal almost a month ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's almost 2 months. I wasn't completely making this up.
No. It's funny. Scheduled a call with one another right after the quarantine order was in place.
Yeah.
Because we'd just been so busy, we wanted to catch up. And that was when this was all birthed. It's amazing what can come out of strange, tumultuous times. Yeah. When you look at each other and go, do we have time now? To do this type of a thing we've been excited about maybe trying. So it's strange how you can make lemons out of lemonade, even though everything seems a little uncertain.
Well, yep. Shoshanah?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to mention, for anyone interested, the Thursday evening performance is going to be followed by a Q&A with Megan and myself about the developmental process. The cast and the designers will also be there, and Maggie Lally is going to be moderating that. So for anyone who's interested, that will follow the show after just a short break. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I am so happy to have you guys here. I'm happy that we've been able to help you promote this. We will continue to do so on our social media and emails and other things. I know the university is really, because we're excited that, we're able to find a way to showcase our students and our alums and the work they're doing even in the midst of all of this. So Thank you both for being here tonight, this afternoon, really. It's okay.
Sorry, I'm going to say one more thing. So all of the students who are performing in the show have created social media accounts on a variety of platforms as their characters and have been generating daily content in character, partially as a character development exercise, but also as a way to spread the word about the show. So we are going to be on our company's Instagram account doing a daily Instagram takeover by a different character in the show starting tomorrow, every day for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So if anyone's
so that is
following Like Fresh Skin on Instagram, it would be a great time to kind of get a taste of what everybody is making and meet these characters for the first time. They're all really fun and cool and interesting, I feel.
No, that's great.
And our Instagram handle, just again, is the name of the company, Like Fresh Skin. That's it. That's the Instagram handle. And you can also get there from our website.
Perfect. I love it. And yeah, so great. Thank you again for being here. Thank you so much for doing this. We are all, I know I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'm sure many other people will be too. Just to see, you know, this kind of creativity go on is really exciting and excellent. So we're thank you again for putting this whole project together and being here on the show to talk about it. Great, thank you again to Megan and Shoshanah. As they mentioned there at the end, if you follow Like Fresh Skin on Instagram, as kind of a preview to the show, they will be showing some of the characters from the production, and they will be having their own Instagram accounts and creating some virtual content before the show even begins in a week. So there's a lot of layers going on here. So thank you again to them for joining us and talking about this great project that they're doing with our students and alums that you'll be able to see soon. Thank you all again for joining us this week. We will be back next week with another new episode with a lot of great new content. We've got great performances already lined up now that people will be back once finals are over and the semester has officially ended for the university. Now, last week, before we go, I'm going to say the world fell in love with a pig that just needed a break. Now, so I was going to close this week with the video, but I decided instead to direct you to Ashley's, the artist Ashley Petty's Instagram page, who created this. She is a senior. This way you can watch the video anytime you want. And you can also see some of the great ceramic work that she's done. That is actually what she does, is ceramics. But now that she's not able to get to a kiln and is stuck at home, she's been making these little videos. And so you'll be able to see a lot of her great work, as well as the pig video. So, I said at the staff meeting this afternoon, as the saying goes, if you give someone, they can watch it for a minute. But if you teach someone where to find the pig on their own, they can watch it for a lifetime. I mean, yeah, I'm not happy with that either. But I am happy that we made it almost 4 weeks without any real technical problems during the show. So thank you for your patience as we had those little problems with the videos today. Thank you all again for watching. Please support the Student Emergency Support Fund if you are able to. And I look forward to seeing you again next week for yet another show. So thank you all again for being here and stay well.